Hey guys, out of my barn today, gonna do a little bit of work on this Cadillac. So I'm only gonna take the trunk lid off and stuff like that, and yeah, just do a couple things. I think I'm being followed. What do you guys want from me? Say hello. Say hi, Tagman channel. Oh, Rudy. Okay, now this hood's rusted up like crazy. All the way up and around, pretty much all the way around the perimeter of it is rusted out. You see rust holes all the way up through. It's pretty bad shape. So I'm gonna try to save the bolts, so I'll use the impact on it and do it real lightly to try to shake them loose. But if that don't work, they're gonna just get snapped. I just slowly ramp the power up as I do it. There you go, a little back and forth on it. Save the bolt. Pretty excited about it because, what is it, a buck? I don't know. Now, I probably should have done the bottom bolt first. Well, the first bolt was the hardest ones. The other ones were real easy. So I've got it just hanging on the bottom bolts. They're both loose. And when Connor shows up, because we got another project to go to, we're gonna yank this thing off. I just don't want to do it myself. It weighs about 1,000 pounds. Connor wants four-wheel drive and his vacuum actuator is no good. So he just took a bar and smashed it over, just shoved it into engage position. This thing's all rotted out.
It is. It needs to be changed.
That's what they do.
I'm going to change that someday.
Yeah,
right after
someday.
I fix these dang leaks. Well, my rear main seal ain't the problem.
No, it's leaking everywhere
Nice and
else.
dry up there. That's cool.
Pretty wet.
Put that in too.
And I finally got past that battery box and I'm starting to cut out little chunks here, but this, I don't know if this makes any sense. So I had some pinholes here and I cut them out. It looked like this on this side. And when I cut it out and I flipped it, and that's what it looks like on the back side. I think what I'm gonna do is there's pinholes here, I'm gonna cut a piece out there. I just weld a couple pieces in and patch that. In the meantime, I'll get in there and I'll spray that up with some rust reformer and clean it all out. Okay, here we go, we're cutting holes. So I cut a couple chunks out here and I got patch pieces. So what I'm gonna do is clean that all up and I'm gonna rust treat all that stuff I can. I already did it behind that patch that I got clamped in place. Now, I'm not sure what to do here, probably cut that out too. But over here I cut it out, and the main reason is I got thinking, because this was the piece that was in there. And if you look at it, it's rusting all the way up the edge, and that's why. So the rust is coming from the back side. I guess what I could have done is caved and paved it, which is just tap it back and put a thick layer of fiber reinforced putty over it. And that would have lasted a good long time, I'm sure. Or it would have bubbled out in 2 years, who the heck knows. But I decided instead I'm gonna take a new piece of steel, I'm gonna treat the back of it, I'm gonna rust treat all this stuff, and I'm gonna weld it in. And the main reason I'm doing it is because this edge is still good. And if I can keep this edge, you know, if it bubbled out in the next couple years, we'd probably lose that edge, and I have to rebuild that whole edge, which would be a lot tougher. So I'd rather just replace a flat piece now and have the thing last longer. Okay, so I had this piece there and I didn't like it no more, so I cut it out. And on the back side, it all looks crusty and nasty. So I'm thinking that would have probably blown itself out through. Now most of this is still fairly solid. This stuff I'm not gonna worry about. Maybe I ought to cut that out square. I don't know, that looks like it'll hold up. I got that all treated now. It was all rusty through here. And now this is rusty, but it's also got a piece of like a rubberized between the panel sealer stuff. So that's got to go away, and then I got to treat the rust back there. I've already got my patch made for this, and I've got it primed on the back side. I cleaned it up the bare metal and sprayed it with a can of metal etching primer. I got my little pieces. Then I'm going to put them in there and start fitting pieces in and weld them all in. And I'm going to take this piece of trim off. I've already taken the screws out, and you can see how rusty that is, that trunk lid. But now I kind of have to tap it off. So I got most of it already, but there's a couple tight spots still. And look what I'm using. You always use the proper tools. A brick chisel. There's a dent here already, so this piece of trim's not gonna be perfect. But I'm thinking I wanna save it anyway, because I don't think they make them anymore. Yeah, that's tight on there. I'm using the long edge of this chisel just so I don't put dings in it. Long edge against the trim, flat. And there it is. Okay, so I got that piece of trim off. It lips right over the edge of the trunk lid. But there's a ding. I mean, that was there. I didn't do it, I promise. But other than that, it's in fairly decent shape, so I'm gonna save it. Now, I gotta take the key lock out because I need that key lock. I don't have a key with the other trunk. As perfect as it is, it didn't come with a key, so I'm not exactly sure how that comes out of there. I'm gonna have to look this thing over. Maybe up in here. Oh, I probably can get to it from there. There's probably can get to it through these holes. Get a long socket up in there and turn it out. I'll save the latch too, no particular reason, but I'm gonna take everything I can off this trunk. Probably even save that wire and courtesy light. Other than that, it's pretty scrappy. There might be some metal I can cut out of it and use. Ooh, I gotta get these out too and get the Cadillac emblem off it. Now I see how it goes. So I pulled a screw out of here. This has got the U-clip that goes right on up and holds that key in place. So I gotta find something to pry that with. Oh, maybe this hammer will work. Oh, it's really rusted up. I gotta find another clever way to do it. Big Phillips, I don't know. See if I can get in there with that. There's a hole there I can get into. I don't think that's going to work. And I don't want to do this on a good one, that's for sure, because that'll screw things up. This way? Maybe this way. I think that sucker really rusted up on there. There might be screws in there too. There's screws too. So it's got both. I gotta get a little, I can just see it through the rust hole. If it wasn't for the rust hole, I wouldn't be able to ever see it. Okay. Yeah, probably a little 7/16. I'll see what I can get on there with. Okay, just spent forever looking for a 3/8 socket, but I got one. I got all kinds of 11/32 sockets over there in my 1/4-inch drive socket bin. Oh, maybe we'll turn it by hand. That's pretty handy. Yeah. Well, these little nuts. Luckily, there's a couple holes above the lock. Oh, that one's not turning by hand so easy. There it is. So that gets that off. I'll use the best one of those. This thing will come right out now. So this is what it left me. There's the key, which is recessed in the trunk lid. And these two bolts, I think now that they're out, this should be able to pull out pretty easy. And it did. But it looks like it don't come all the way out. It must be a full circle. Well, I never thought changing the cylinder would be such a big deal. But you know, this stuff does take forever. I mean, just doing this stuff. Now this should unplug here, I would hope. And if I unplug it there, this is a fun little game. But this won't come through there. Got it. There we go. So that just comes out. This comes out. So that's shaped like that, so you're not going to just yank it out. And this goes down through here under the skin of the trunk lid, obviously. But I got it. I got all the stuff. Okay, so we'll call that a successful mission. Okay, now as I'm looking at this one's bigger than that one. You can see the difference. It's substantially bigger, which means the hole spread's probably different. This trap door works different. Hopefully the lock's the same and I could just change the cylinder out and be okay. And it also has this, which the other car didn't have. Not a big deal on that. Don't think I want to tape those. I'll probably take them off completely. So the driver's side of this car, the Sedan DeVille emblem that goes here, there's a hole there, a couple little holes for it, was missing. It's just gone. And on this side, it's here. I'm not sure how to get it off without damaging it. I'm gone from the back side, and I don't know if it's little tiny barrel snaps. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know what it is. I can't tell by looking. It almost looks like they just punched it in through the steel. I smacked it on the backside with a drift and it's got it popped out. I was able to hit that one and that one here. I gotta get this one and this one, but they're hard to reach, so I might have to get in there with a different tool to get to those guys and pop that out. Hopefully I'll get it off without damaging it and I can put it back on. But I'm still lacking one for the driver's side, which I'd love to find, so maybe I'll get on eBay and look. Okay, so here we go. That was tiny, tiny little barrel snaps holding that on. Barely see the little guys. Well, I was able to pry them out with a putty knife. I just kind of got underneath the little lip they got and gave them a couple tugs and they came out. So that's good. So I don't know how I'm going to put these back in. There's one barrel snap's a little corroded, but I'm going to put them all together and I'm going to worry about it after it's painted. Okay, I got this thing looking more like Swiss cheese all the time. And I've kind of decided I got to get this done. I'm going to give myself a 2-week limit from here. So I got a bunch of stuff done. It's been off and on. I'm going to try to get to it almost every day for 2 weeks. I probably can't because I have other jobs I got to do too, a couple. Okay, I'm just looking at this here and how I'm going to do this. I know it'll probably be like the cool thing to do to peel apart the layers and then put them back together exactly at the factory marks. But that's a lot of work. And honestly, I don't want to do all that on this. So I got to get rid of that rotten spot there. But I've got this new piece here. So I think what I'm going to do is accurately, I'm going to cut out pretty much the smallest piece I can. I don't see any point in making it any bigger than it has to be. But I do want to get rid of that rust. I might as well because this is pretty clean on this. So get rid of all that rust, replace it with this. Now this thing's pretty surface rusty too. It really is not an ideal part, but I think it's something I can work with because I can clean that up and make it, you know, so it'll be stable again. So it looks to me like I'm going to go from about here, I'll mark it out and go to here, and then figure out a straight line across here where I'm going to dip back down and just come right straight across here. Now I'm not sure exactly what to do here. Probably I want to get rid of that because I think on this one it's good, or at least better. So what I might do is actually cut it out to here, make my fitting there. Then I also have this piece underneath here, and I think what we'll have to do is unhook that, keep the original piece. So that is something I will have to split off and leave right where it is. I have to make some accurate marks so I can cut this thing. So I want to put some accurate marks on there, and I just cleaned it up when I crazy clean. Half the green came off on the rag. So it looks like this paint's pretty oxidized. Wonder what the gold will do, if that is even gold. Well, it's got big runny things here. Wow. Anyway, so I got to mark both pieces, cut them, see if I can get them to fit. Well guys, looks like it's time to stop fretting and start cutting. So I'm going to take a Sawzall, cut across there, and then a rotary cut and cut across there and cut that out. And then we'll try fitting it in. All right, so I got that cut out. I just got it hanging by the brace support. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to see the spot welds and drill them out, or how I'm going to do it, but I'd like to save this piece so I can use it as a pattern on that. I don't want to climb in there and lay on my back. So I set up a mirror. And I don't know if you can see it in the mirror, but I can. I can see the spot welds. They're very obvious. One there, one there, and one there. So I'm going to see if I can't drill them out and pop this thing apart. Time to get out the old chisel. got that cut out, looks pretty goofy. Because I got this starts here and it goes way up there at the point, kind of weird. But I got this brace cleaned out, which is great. Got all the spots drilled out, and now it's just a matter of taking this piece, laying it over that, and trying to mark it out and cutting that one so that it fits. Probably gonna cut it a little bit big and try to trim my way into it. Well, I got a little bit done on that caddy today. Hey, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys on the next one.